Okay, thank you everybody for joining us. So we're starting the Thursday, April 11th Parks and Recognition meeting. And first on our agenda is Jessica Sims. Jessica?
She's not here.
Oh. Okay, so she didn't show up.
Didn't show up. I have not had an email from her.
All right, I'm sorry. Okay, any audience of citizens? Any audience citizens on Zoom?
Nope.
Okay, hearing none.
Tip, real quick. Tip, Joe is on Zoom. And I will email you the commission for the aging members.
Awesome, thank you.
I'm sorry, I just thought of that. Go ahead.
Okay, all right, we're just gonna move one consent agenda item up. It's consent agenda item F. And we're gonna consider that consent agenda right now. So I have a motion to accept consent agenda item F.
First, you have to make a motion to move it.
I'll make a motion to move consent agenda.
I'll second, but I'll second.
Okay, second,
Cool.
and the motion was made to discuss. Okay, I'm gonna ask Steve just to open up and explain item F for the benefit of the commission members. And then if there's questions or whatever, then we can vote after that.
Yeah. So Brett Martirano, who works for the town, his dad passed away, who is a Hall of Fame pro high school athlete. And he wanted to do a bench in memory of his dad. Normally we have a bench price and it's a standard 6-foot mahogany bench. He wanted to have it at Safe Park because that's where his father participated in a lot of sports. So a couple of years ago, Kensington Garden Club donated 2 beautiful green 6-foot benches in honor of Mrs. Stoka. So when Brett came to us, we wanted to make sure that all the benches inside the Spleece Field area match. So Brett is putting $1,000 towards the bench, and the grounds department will pick up the remaining portion of the bench.
Brett's also paying for the plaque that will go on it.
Okay, so are there any questions, comments?
Does that meet all of our requirements in the sign or naming policy?
Yeah, bench is just a letter. He did submit a letter. I don't know if I included it, but he did submit it. I might have forgotten to.
And this location is the best location,
Yep.
the viewpoint?
Yep. This way his family or anybody can stop in, you know, someone's coming to the game, waiting for their kids or grandkids to get out, they can sit outside the bench. It's gonna be located just outside the team room, the youth room, and right outside where Rural Youth Football stores their equipment. So it'll be all right in the public for anybody to utilize it whenever they want.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to accept consent agenda item number to the letter F.
Second.
any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's
Joe?
just, Parks and Rec, thank you.
Joe?
Joe? Joe Pulcini, you on? Okay,
All right, we'll count him count him as an abstention.
okay, thank you very much for that. We're now gonna move to Parks and Grounds report, before we get into a combined commission meeting, okay? So with that, sweet.
Perfect. So Tuesday night, we went to town council, to get permission and approval to move forward with Little People's Playground. That was unanimously approved. So working with the Mons Club, they're gonna post it tonight, somewhere around 8, 9 o'clock, of kind of what the final diagram and design and everything was. It was the same thing I sent you guys a few months ago, so that playground is moving forward. We're looking at break ground just after Labor Day when the kids go back into school, so at least we're not taking the playground away from the whole summer. Any questions on the play?
Yes, that's great. job.
Perfect, yep. Perfect.
Another question.
Is that their official title? I mean, I've seen it a few times already, with like moms.
It's just
They're not
all-
official because they're not an official organization. It's just a Facebook group that they began.
Well, is it moms for Berlin?
I don't know, I'm not in it, so.
It's the Moms Group. It's 935 members right now. Anybody can join, but you have to get approval to join. I did join. Because I can see a lot of more information that I saw, so just try, I told them my goal is to make sure if there's something that I know that could help community, I'll let them know. So that's what I do.
Yep, and there, you know, like I explained to the council the other night, you know, there was a lot of great ideas that came in that we utilized, and there was some ideas that we didn't think was a good use of our money that we could put towards the playground. So we left some of those ideas off. So I'm sure there'll probably be a 90-10, 90 people will be in love, 90% will be in love with it, and 10% won't. The next agenda item we went for was the feasibility study to hire KVA, and that also was approved.
More than the
For the Demore complex. So we're moving forward with that as well. We have to try to wrap that up by the beginning of July. So Jim Mahoney can apply for a $500,000 steep.
So if we go ahead and we're able to do what we might wanna do, whatever that might be, the steep grant would go towards whatever we would do.
So you turned over the thing, it's being studied now.
Correct. We're just waiting to meet on site with KVA and their consultant to come up with an idea of exactly what we're looking at. We're trying to break it apart into pieces like a pie, you know, the pickleball courts, the splash pad, the playground, renovating or remediating the pool, upgrading the pool house. So at least we know what each portion of this is going to cost.
And that also will be helpful if you think about Percival, which is the remaining pool as well. So we can talk a little bit about that.
Yep, and I also touched base that we are the last community around us that does not have pickleball courts. Rocky Hill just voted to demolish their skateboard park and build pickleball courts on that site.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah. Any other questions? I need one of those two before I go into the monthly report. Good work.
A lot of good work.
Okay, I call my Tony files, kind of like the first three items is, I don't think I do a good job explaining exactly how much we do outside of ball fields and recreation. This month alone, we probably assisted the food pantry of delivering food from Stop and Shop to Pistol Creek, about 20 man hours. And also inheriting all the open space and passive recreation. We spent about a day with two guys inside all of the trails, cutting down the trees, moving them out of the way. And then also we spent a couple of hours, probably 10 hours, drilling holes and installing the sign at Timberland Golf Course. So we are a lot more involved than just taking care of baseball fields, soccer fields, and lacrosse fields. I just don't think I've done a good job over the last couple of years of really explaining how versatile and well-rounded our department is to be able to assist in so many other things. So that completes my report. If you guys have any questions.
I'll just speak for the Timberland golf sign. Steve's group, Steve, very, very helpful, step right forward, even though Timberland has the maintenance staff. Right? Public grounds put it in. So, everybody's very thankful for that, and, we appreciate the effort, so.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Good work.
Anything on this report?
Disc golf, I guess I can.
Go ahead, yeah, it's all good.
So we met with a guy from disc golf, and when he first approached us and spoke to us on it, we kind of thought it was a turnkey. That they were just gonna utilize Pistol Creek. They had a committee that would build the tee boxes, you know, they had. Where they were gonna put all of the baskets that were gonna, you know, where you throw the frisbee into. And he kind of made a comment the last meeting that kind of left us a little taken back, where he was going to look for us to clean and trim certain areas, and we didn't know about that, so I think Jen and I would like some more clarification of what exactly he's looking for resources from the Parks and Grounds Department of how to move forward with this. But I think from the Parks and Grounds standpoint, for another amenity that will cost us a minimal amount of money, and I'd be willing to help out of my budget to be able to have this, I think it's excellent. Like, I think it's a really great added feature to Pistol Creek. It's very popular. I think it was just on the news the other day about the national championship that they were having somewhere. I just think there's so much positive that can come out of it.
Yeah, it's gonna be very little administration on our part. Steve and I talked, and it would be similar to these people that are coming to us and wanting to do a walk or a 5K or something at the Pistol Creek Trails. If an event is over the size of 100, we would get PD involved. We would have some kind of cost to rent it if it's over 100 we're looking at. That's something we'll bring back to you guys. But I think we're just looking for your support to go on and continue conversations with him, because we don't just want to shut it down because everyone saw the $20,000 on the last slide and said, oh, well, it's got to go to capital, which means it'll never get done. We want to make sure you guys are okay with us looking into it more and seeing, how we can work with them and make this happen.
It's a good idea. My impression was that they were gonna help with the funding.
Yeah.
exactly.
And sponsors,
Yep.
they weren't necessarily looking at us for that. I mean, I don't know about the maintenance or whatever, the tree or whatever, but.
I think we just want to be able to sit down and really iron out details, especially with, we met with Ryan, the main guy. He's now sent it over to 3 people in Berlin, the ones that are using it in the school with the special ed groups and everything. And I think it'd be best to sit down with that group specifically. See if we can make it work.
What's the downside to having this thing?
More traffic on South Hill and Spruce Brook, more people utilizing the park. I mean, there's really no, in our vision, we don't see a downside. We maybe have a little bit more wear, we might have to go out a little more grassy, that type of stuff, but I think it's gonna, we're gonna start to utilize the park that might not get as much use as it should be. No,
In certain areas.
right, we know the trails are always walked, and there's plenty of people out there walking, but when it comes to the grass, there's nobody on the grass. So this would then utilize the grass. And it's no more maintenance from our part, we'll still mow it every 2 weeks, 10 to 14 days like we always have for the last 6 years since we were able to knock it down and cut back the brush. And it is a huge tax on our department, not only to take care of Bicentennial, but also to take care of Pistol Creek, but we manage.
Just 2 comments. Read them.
Oh, Jen, one of the concerns I think you had was when they talked about going through Parks and Rec for organizing the communities.
They don't do that. They don't do that with the towns. They organize it throughout
They
their
do
own
it
organization.
themselves.
Yep, they don't work with the town
Okay.
departments to do that.
So, to reserve it, they would have to go on a schedule.
We would treat it like if they were gonna do a tournament, we would have them come here, get approval, get the police involved, stuff like that.
Otherwise, if I'm an individual and I go by, I can go out there anytime and just shoot, because no one's reserved it, like a field.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I was gonna say is I'm in favor for doing this. Couple of conditions, so I think we need to understand what the cost is gonna be on your end to do whatever trimming or whatever they're doing, that's number 1. And number 2, concert with Donald was gonna talk to you about. Somehow, some way, I think we need to get them to sign something or be just like a little league or anything else that understands our rules of the road. If they start seeing garbage everywhere and those type of things, they're gonna have to be somewhat responsible for it. They're gonna have to be responsible for controlling their, if you will, because we just don't want things to just get out of control.
Yeah, that's something we could look into for sure.
You said one thing, and it's not about this, it really is about Sage Auxiliary and all the good work that his crew has done to knock down all the crap that goes down over on the other side of the path. You can actually see the pond when you walk up there.
Lucas, did you actually have something on topic?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, how was that?
That has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think it's a great idea just for residents getting outside and doing something else. That's fantastic.
And the fact is that it'll just be another amenity that we have in town that's very little upkeep on our end, which is.
Just one last thing. New proposed trail by the conservation. Group. Just have to coordinate whatever space we can use, any additional space that they may use. On that side,
I have no idea about it.
Everything that we're doing is we're staying as far away from Debbie's camp as we can. All 18 holes will be on the opposite side of the clubhouse, where the new walking trail is actually coming on top of Atkins Street, which will cut over the top of the ridge, just outside the clubhouse.
Right.
Anywhere near the,
by the middle towns.
yep, nowhere near us, nowhere near.
So they're not coming across, because I thought they were gonna come across.
The 18 holes,
We were
Or the
very
trail.
specific.
the 18
Trail.
holes, we're specific, it has to stay across the street.
Okay, all right, okay, thank you. Okay, go ahead.
One last thing, there's no way that these shells or whatever they're putting together could turn into a I just lost my name of it. Where do they play when they, at the Sage Park, they were making a best, hitting with the stick.
Cricket,
No, they can't, none of that will turn into something like that, right? With no, whatever.
They're like a
It's like
basket,
any-
they're like a
they
chain,
could
they're like a
show
chain
up.
basket.
No, yeah, well, that's my concern. I didn't know how that was gonna be laid out. It's gonna be laid out.
But the disc golf I mean, you're gonna leave a lot of trees and everything, that, you know, there's a lot of trees, so they can't play, it's not, no, they could use an open field.
I understand, right, I just get nervous because of the wear and tear.
I believe that Rocky Hill just transitioned one of their fields into a cricket court.
Yep.
So they had a company come in and build a cricket court, so I believe all the cricket play that we've gotten is now transitioned to Rocky Hill to be part of that league.
Not against cricket, I just wanted to make sure we don't.
We've had a lot of mysterious damage, use that we never knew about.
Okay, so you guys were gonna go through it, you'll bring it back to us at some point. Okay. All right, thank you.
One last thing is two Fridays ago on Good Friday, I was driving around to decide if we were gonna open fields and close fields. I pulled into the Beretta complex and there was about 20 cars there. I got out of my truck, I started walking down, and there was 40 guys on the field from a Twilight Baseball League out of Hartford, prepping and raking and working on our field. So I had a conversation with them. Probably was out of line on my part, I will admit, and tried to get where it was going. We had just spent 2 days edging the field, bringing silt in, and getting the field ready for the baseball season. And the guy was like, "Oh, you know, we're just the Twilight League, you know, out of Hartford. We usually play in Southington, but our field was underwater in Southington, so we figured we'd just come play on yours." So they had gone out there with rakes, hose, they brought Speedy Dry, Diamond Dry. They had a big pile of mud on the middle of the grass where they had raked all the mud onto the field and left it there. They nicely walked after a little while.
The best part is when Steve told them, you know, we have to reserve the fields, you need to call Jen Ochoa, he knew my name because I had talked to him last year when he called to request fields. Unfortunately, the dates didn't work, so we weren't able to rent him anything, but, so this is a gentleman who knew the process. And
Yeah.
decided to go.
You'll get the.
So if he does reach out and we do have dates, I may be coming to you guys for, do we want to rent it? I have not heard since.
He raked it
No
up.
support, we support our policies. Wow.
We haven't heard from him since.
Well, I'm glad you did that, because who knows what it would have been like after you did.
Right.
Were they doing all of that work? Cause the field was.
Underwater, sopping wet puddles.
Our fields were closed that day.
Well, we were close.
Yep.
Yeah.
He jumps the fence.
It
Oh,
wasn't-
no, there's fences unlocked.
Red is open. It's been a long time since I've heard Stephen that angry calling me on a Saturday.
Well, it's frustrating. The field is closed. You're gonna deal-
We
How are
understand.
we gonna deal with the soccer people when they come back?
Right. We understand,
What's the plan for that?
yeah.
I know, I believe the soccer people have moved to a new location, and I think they're very happy where they are, and I don't think they'll be doing any further damage to any of our grass fields.
Where have they moved?
They are no longer on a grass field.
They're on our artificial turf?
Yeah.
They paid fees,
Nope.
because they turned in a roster and they're 75% Berlin residents?
I don't know this group, so.
Well, that's what we need to do,
So I kicked
because
people
they're not.
off of,
No, we're not.
St. John's. And,
I don't wanna give out of town people the artificial turf for no fee.
We're
That's
not, we're
right.
not giving it to them. They're
What do you-
walking over, they're
Yeah.
noticing it's not being played on and they're playing on it.
Out of
some of them
town.
are Berlin citizens.
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know the group, so I don't
Well,
know.
they are, I mean, if it's the same group.
It's the same group. Some are Berlin, some are not.
You know. Yeah.
I know BYSA coaches have their permits, and I have told John Riley, make sure when you go to Biscoglio, your coaches have your permits in case there's anyone on the field and you can kick them off. They kicked off Berlin High School just last night.
We know who the person is, Donna, still? Do we still have his name?
I don't know who they are, I just know the group is moved.
Well, did he not come to a council meeting or
No,
didn't you talk to Mark?
Yeah, okay, I will call them. We know that they're using artificial turf.
I haven't seen them, so I don't.
Huh?
If Steve's
I
seen
have
them,
not seen them on any.
I have not seen them at all,
All right, so.
or heard anything.
All right. Okay, thanks for reporting that. Anything else for Steve while he's here? Did you have a concern?
I got this, but, no, one method, one basically of the observation. So when I was over at, practicing at Scoglio, and I only needed half the field because half the kids were on vacation. There were some other kids playing at the other end, which is fine. It was a family of, you know, a couple of peaceful little kids, and they're out there shooting on a small goal. From that perspective, it's great. You know, I mean, I think that from Steve's perspective, the full use of having people be able to use it is a good thing. The other stuff is that we've got to have to manage those. The other one, the one other is on topic now. So I wanted to talk about what you'll really see is Sage Building. And what I talked to Ben about it today. So we've got the soccer camp there, so I go there over there and open it up. And I check to make sure everything's clean. And then I shut it down, I check all the rooms and make sure if it's dirty. And so when I went in this morning, opened up because it was raining, let the kids in there. There were water bottles, there's crap everywhere, there's, I got pictures. There's candy wrappers on top of the, you know, on top of the benches.
It was clean yesterday morning.
Yeah, well, it was clean when I
But
left
you're not
yesterday.
yesterday.
We've already addressed with the athletic director once this season. Our custodians have been telling us when the room is left a mess, sending us pictures, or when things are damaged or vandalized. We've addressed with the athletic director and we'll continue to do that.
So,
Do we know who used the field yesterday afternoon, or can you check? I'm sure it was the high
Berlin High
school.
School across.
So they're leaving the place still a mess, even though I appreciate you.
I can address it again.
no, so here's the thing, and this is just, listen. They need to be responsible, either the coaches or the team captains, team captain practice, they need to be responsible. It's really simple. To leave that room the way it was unconscionable. I cleaned it up before the kids came in. They sat there and they had their snacks and everything. And we cleaned up the mess afterwards, all right? But, you know, it's sometimes it's an ongoing thing. And the other thing I wanted to mention was there were 3 lacrosse players' cars that were outside the Scoglio were parked as I was leaving after I checked the keys for the container. And the only reason I know one of them, they went back and got their stuff out of the car. So they're parking in a non-parking zone, right? It's not they shouldn't be parking there, right? And that's another thing where some of the kids are parked where they normally park and walk over. And it's like a thing of privilege. And, you know, it needs to be managed. That's just like 2 cents.
And I can tell you, and I'm sure Steve can back me up, the director of security definitely addresses that with the athletic director when he sees people park, because he's had to address it with his coaches as well. So that's not our jurisdiction, but
No, I know.
director of security, I know, watches those cameras.
Okay,
Good, I'm good.
all right, so you're gonna follow up again with the AD? Yep. We'll go from there.
Yep.
Obviously, we've had the fields, now we have the Sage Building, leaving like trash. The field is taken care of, it appears, until these other people.
The parking lot has been decent, times I've been over there. So, that was good.
Okay. Okay, anything else? Okay, wonderful, thank you, Steve.
See you guys next week.
If you want me to call you tomorrow? That's huh?
Okay, so the portion of the meeting now will open up for our
Okay, thank
combined
you.
Commission on Aging and Parks and Rec Commission. Thank you for coming, Barbara. Kay and Ann. Roger Moss is on Zoom. Roger there?
Yeah, he's here.
His lips don't move, that's all.
Yeah, look at that.
Roger, you here?
I am.
Hi.
I am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, those are the members, right? That are coming,
Mhm.
okay.
Only have 4.
So with that, we all went through last time, the space needs, Brian was here, he walked us through it. And you had some time to spend on it. There were comments that were made at the last meeting, really good feedback, we appreciate that, and so our subcommittee, Barbara, Tina, Debbie, Jen, and myself met, and we then went to Brian with changes. And I'll just go through them, and basically it's the locker rooms and the number of lockers, okay, that was the biggest change. Before we do that, originally, I wrote up this motion on 3A that's written on the agenda. But after going through this new draft, I just want to point out on page 14, which is the schedule, there's just one item that's missing from that. So I'm gonna make the motion, and then we can discuss this report. But the one item that's missing is the aquatic office. It's 150 square feet, page 14.
So it's in the document. It's just not added
It's
in the
not
square
added in the
footage.
square footage, okay? And
It's
then
on
there-
page 11, if anyone wants to actually look at the details of it.
So, just so that you're aware, I'm just gonna, so aquatic office would be added 150 square feet, that brings the total net square footage to 43,015. 43,015 square feet. The next gross factor stays at 2,000, the next gross factor, which is for all the spaces including this office, would go to 7,840. So the total gross square footage required will be 52,805. And again, we'll go through the change, but I'm gonna make the motion, I'll ask someone to second it. And then we'll open up the discussion, and what I'd like to do first is just step you through the changes within the report, okay, but I wanted just to let you know that's why I was gonna mess with the motion, okay. Okay, so I'm making the motion to accept the attached draft space needs assessment with the change on page 14, which will now give us total square footage, gross square footage required of 52,805.
Second.
It's been seconded. And with that,
What was your number? 42,865 goes to what?
43,050.
43,015,
Sorry.
and then 7,840, you
Yep, I
got
got the other two.
52,805.
So Donna motioned, who seconded?
Okay, with that. The changes start on page 11. So from the old draft that you had last time that we met to this new draft. Based on the input. 19A, male toilets, locker showers. Number 1, locker storage goes to 50. So 50 half height lockers, it was 10. Toilet sink area, we just added in parentheses, minimum of 3 each, just to make sure. And that is on number 3. Okay. Showers, we changed from 2 to 3 total. With those changes, the square footage has changed for male toilets from 600 to 1,000 square feet. Okay. Those same changes were made in the female section as well, exact same changes. Okay. Family toilets, item C. We had 1 family locker room. We added a second family locker room. So there will be 2 family locker rooms, each 350 square feet. The one that we had before was 300 square feet. And so now we have 700 square feet. Those 3 changes are a net change of an additional 1,200 square feet. Okay, in addition, within the family locker rooms, C1, we have 4 locker storage areas, it's now 10. And the showers remain at 1 because you have 1 family at a time using the family. Okay, so now that was the only change within the report. If you go to page 14 that we already just went through. You go down to locker rooms. On this page here, page 14, you'll see it's now 2,700 square feet. It was 1,500 before. A person did email me and ask me for the width of the pool deck around the pool. So, with, you know, what, I talked to Brian, the pool width. So you walk out the locker room, just say you're on the long side or on the short side of the pool. The long side, 20 feet. And that does not include spectator seating. Okay, so you have spectator seating that's taking up space, but there's 20 feet beyond that to get to the pool, which is much more than Wyndham. For those that went to Wyndham, it's a good amount of space. On the short end, it's 14. Okay. Again, good amount of space. You can store things. You want to make sure there's enough room for water aerobics equipment, whatever else, swim team, swim meets, all that. Okay. So that was one other question that came in. And other than that, that was the change. Okay. So with that, I'll ask if anybody has questions or comments from the commission members. I didn't go through page by page, it's the same that we did before, but certainly any questions or comments. Barbara?
I think Kay, do you have a comment?
No.
Plan?
No, Brian was not hired to do what you and I had talked about.
Yeah, Kay had asked me, I'm assuming that's what you're talking about? Yeah, Kay had asked earlier about a floor plan, and I explained to her that that is not part of Brian's scope of work. It may come later if they choose to move to the next step of this project, but his scope of work that he's being paid for by the town and the contract he signed is for the needs of the commissions, as well as the square footage and the estimated price, I believe, as well. But a design was not part of his scope of work that he was hired to do. So that will be part of the next phase if council and board of finance move on to the next phase.
And to that point, Jen mentioned cost. Cost will not show up in this report, because if it did, it was to be included in the draft. Brian will be presenting his cost estimates to the council in a separate report, and he's also been charged to look around town and see if you could put any of these pieces, a senior center, a pool, a gym, can you put it anywhere else that we have space available to us that the town already owns? In other words, don't build it new, do it piecemeal. That's part of his project outside of our groups. So this was our task, is to identify what our needs are. Joe, anybody, any questions or comments?
No, I think that was a good overview on your part, Donna. Thank you for clarifying the changes.
Roger?
Yeah, Donna, as far as other facilities or town-owned, are you talking just property or actual buildings?
I think he's looking at both.
Okay.
Not positive, but I think so.
All right, thank you. That's all.
That's why we should stick with the June meeting.
That's why we should stick with the June meeting. He needs time to do all
Right,
that.
so, we'll just follow up and let you all know that right now, Brian's report was due to the council May 10th based on his contract. But he's gonna be out of, I just learned tonight, he's gonna be out of the country in May.
Yeah.
So, I'm away, and I said, I wanna be at the council meeting, and I couldn't make one of the meetings in May. And then Micah Hearn, who signed the contract, from building commission, he's out of the country as well for one of the weeks. So it was decided the date for the presentation of Brian's full report, this would be part of it, will be June 4th. Which is 7 o'clock at the town council chambers. That's what it is right now. Jen was asked to check to see if Brian could move up his full report for April 23rd. So I had a conversation with Brian just prior to this meeting, and I asked him to talk to Micah Hearn. He was going to the building commission meeting, so he'll be talking to Micah Hearn, but the answer is he can't. There's no way he can get the
Did he
report
say
done
that too?
early.
He said he wouldn't be able to? Okay, good.
That's what he said.
Yeah,
Now,
I
maybe
want
him-
to give him the time to do his
right,
research.
maybe him and Mike will decide. So I said, throw it open, maybe the council could add another meeting and focus 100% on this project. Rather than including other things, so that they can focus on this and maybe talk to us about what they're looking at for the Y option. Because we haven't heard anything on the Y option, that's up to the council to do. I don't know if that's a possibility, so all I know is June 4th right now, we'll let you know if there's another.
So that's gonna be a special town council meeting.
No, June
Not
4th
right
is a
now.
regular town council meeting.
Yes.
That's opposed to that, it's a regular.
So, the way this thing will work, right, is the council meeting, Brian will do his report. The council will say, thank you very much, we'll mull it over, time will go by. At some point, they'll get to the Y. And it's, the mayor has said it at whatever point in time. He'll bring it to the townspeople to show them what we have, the space needs, Brian's report. Maybe the Y option, and then have a public meeting for the whole town to come to. Obviously, the town and all those commissioners are encouraged to go to the June 4th meeting or whatever town council meeting and to speak out against the citizens and push this thing along. The last time it took 2 years to get to this point again. In 2 years, inflation. In 2 years, increased cost. Delay. Cost goes up. So,
Smaller building, more money.
Yeah, that's what it is.
right. But it really needs to be up to the public to push it. And the commissions, but the public has to go, and they have to go to the council meetings to make it work.
So I have a question on that.
Yeah.
So do we have the ability to provide like the school systems, especially like PTA groups, flyers that basically say about this meeting and that we need people out there? Because honestly, what I'm hearing a lot from the younger people
Right.
that have students, between the grades of, 5th grade to 10th, 11th. I'm hearing a lot of people talk about we need more. And when you tell them about this, and I know what everyone's gonna say, they say, we don't know about it,
Right.
So,
And that's everything in town.
yeah, I
Yeah.
but do we have the ability to put flyers in kids' backpacks?
So they don't do flyers in kids' backpacks anymore. They do the community board, which parents have access to. That's how Debbie posts all her flyers for Parks and Recreation. And I believe everyone has to be approved by the superintendent's office before it even gets
Sorry,
posted.
I didn't realize we were doing that.
Yeah, so we could create a flyer once we know this is definite, and I could send it to the superintendent's office and see if he gets an approval to put on the community board, but they don't do backpacks anymore.
Sorry, Deb, I'm
But he-
not
no, but-
talking
no, no,
about
no,
you,
no.
I'm talking about the school.
Oh, no, but even with that, people say they have
don't
no
believe
idea about, and I mean, I've been doing that for, God, probably 10 years, they
I
have flyers.
post everything on there.
Yeah, and even though that's available to people, they still do not look at it, so it's not a matter of you not even, it's just people don't even bother to.
And it's not
access
even a Berlin thing about the paper flyers, that's a lot of districts just put it
Yeah.
all online now.
They do the
How about
e-blasts.
how about letting that mom's group know?
So to that point, and I didn't get a chance to talk to Jen, but Jen, I haven't seen the letter, but Jen received a letter from a person, Karen. About.
Oh, that's
videotaping.
that's her proposal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not this, that's different.
Well, yes, but it's related, and I'll explain. So, Karen Hemsworth has put together a proposal she would like, because she knows about this. And she's the one that put the previous draft on the Moms Group's page to let the community start to know about it, at least that group. So she and some people got together and
So Thurston included, actually.
they asked to videotape the current senior center, go in and do a videotape, and also videotape the community center. Jen took that letter right and so, to Roche, and I guess the feedback is the commissioners will have to vote.
Yeah,
on
it'll
that
go
to
on the
approve
main
her
commission
to
agenda.
videotape, and then it will have to go to council for the council to approve them to videotape.
It's a 2-page proposal. So I already talked to Barbara about it. It's gonna be on the May Commission for the Aging. I'm gonna include it in our agenda package, and Karen will actually be at both meetings to present the proposal of what she's looking to do.
At least she was nice enough to ask. A lot of people don't even ask, and they still put it on social media.
Yeah.
True.
So,
Yeah, and this is very organized. They're working with the AV group over at the high school. They really want to make sure it's done right, so.
understand. But I guess the question is, hopefully the people that are gonna approve or disapprove, understand the fact that regardless of what they say, it's freedom of speech.
Right.
If people wanna do it, they'll do it.
I just asked them, I'm like, what's the community board? I'm like, where's the, and I consider myself involved, like, I know, I'm like, what, it's on the Board of Ed page, I'm like, I've never seen that. No. I'm like, how would I know?
Yeah, to your point, Donovan.
So that,
No, please, please,
go ahead.
So you're gonna put together a flyer so that you can share it with us, so we can repost it.
Yeah, I can easily put together a flyer once this is voted on and finalized, yeah.
But, so that's a flyer saying that there's gonna be this meeting, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I'd have to work with
presentation.
Donna on the wording of how much information we want to put out
Right.
there.
But what we really need is a pack.
Yes, as we discussed last
Okay.
time. Someone, I
mean,
think
that's-
Roger asked, right?
Right, that's what we really need, because you need really this Jen's gonna give a factual thing, but not a like pro thing, right?
Right, so a PAC is a
Political
political
action
action committee, that's up to the community to decide to put together a PAC. It's a legal entity, and if there is a PAC, they have to decide, what their goal is. Yeah, that's the way to go, so people have to take the ball and run.
I don't know if this is the appropriate place to talk about it.
To talk about a PAC.
PAC.
So not at this commission meeting, I'll say that I was involved previously for a PAC for education, way back when. On a budget issue where it's kind of similar to what you're seeing happening now, right, so. But in that case, it was a little different, but anyway, we established a PAC. And Kate Wall, the town clerk, she can help people through that to get it established. But it's not part of our commission to establish, that's up to the community to do on their own. And, to get people that are committed to that goal, whatever that goal is. Whether you're for it, there might be a PAC that's totally against whatever we pass, right? So that is the only real way to get things done, so that you can put up signs and things like that throughout the town, but it can't come from our commission.
Like, yes for VHS, was that one?
I'm sorry?
Yes for VHS, was that
Yes.
one?
If that was a PAC, I don't know if that was a PAC,
Or just a group of motivated individuals.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
we established a PAC, there was dues, we called it Berlin. Berlin elects responsive leaders in November, kind of cute thing, right? But, that's, so I don't know about the yes for VHL, I know they put up signs if there were.
I didn't think it was
It wasn't,
I don't think.
I don't think it was, yeah. This is a very expensive project, so everybody has a right in the community to know about it, obviously, and to provide factual information. That's what we have to do better than we can probably. That being said, I know that Barbara and I have spoken in the past, and once our commissions approve whatever we decide tonight, vote on it, commissions then could talk to the PTOs or PTAs and say, hey, do we come to a meeting? Just to get the word out, and it would be this document, it can't be anything beyond what our commission has talked about. And again, it's not pro or, but we can say our commission's voted for it, and it's gonna be discussed with the June 4th town council.
And I'll email everyone once we have absolute confirmation that that's the date
Right,
after tonight.
so that's what we can do as a commission, is reach out to organizations. And again, don't go beyond this document. So I don't think if anybody would have an issue with that, any commission members have an issue with people, and commission members, we can let you know what we hooked up with or what group, and you're free to join us, or perhaps I can't make it, but one of you guys can, doesn't always have to be Barbara and myself. Seniors. There's no reason why we can't have a meeting at the senior center and just let the people know.
I went to the,
I
I did
you don't
a
have to wait for the
presentation
council.
at the Ladies Guild on Monday. It was just, I just talked about it and told them what we were gonna, and it lasted about 2.5 minutes because we had a speaker.
But they were actually very receptive and nobody gave me any flack about it, so that's encouraging.
Again, once we vote on it.
We have to get the grassroots out there.
So look, can I ask you all a question on the senior side? So I know you have a large population that you're accustomed to chatting. But what about the other portion that may not come to the senior center and may not be part of it? I
You
mean,
have to go out and find them.
yeah, so that's,
Go out and
but
find them.
there's
You have to
no-
start looking for meetings and going to meetings, go to the Lions Club, present it.
so my question I was gonna ask though is there another vehicle you have with communicating to those groups that don't tend to come to the senior center?
Ask the veterans for help. We just help them by giving them a donation.
Sure. Want to know. So, yeah.
Ask the other people in town to get behind it. That's the only way. If we can't get people to start talking about this.
Right,
You're
but
never gonna get
but
anywhere.
no, that's my question. Do you have a vehicle? In other words, like we were talking social media. Do you have a social media group that you send things out to
Well,
individuals?
I've been trying to get on, I tried to get on, that thing's just exploded and become pretty much unusable. So guys who think they're reporters are taking it over and all you're seeing is news from other towns on there. So I think I'm gonna go on Berlin instead.
Tina does have the Berlin Senior Center Facebook page that she can share on the Buzz and Talks as well. Like we do with.
Tom?
Yeah,
Go, Roger.
oh, Roger.
There isn't another venue, another vehicle or way to get in touch with people that don't use the senior center per se. To answer your
Okay.
question.
Okay, thank you.
We also are getting a lot better coverage in the Citizen as far as town stuff is going.
So, and
Because
the only reason why I'm asking this question, and please, I'm not being disrespectful at all, okay? But, I used to have elderly parents before they passed, and I know that they're on a fixed income, right? So when you talk about a dollar amount that we potentially have here, we typically in voting situations, as I understand it, I could be wrong with this. A lot of the times when dollars and cents are being asked to raise taxes, the majority of the seniors in town tend to vote no because of their fixed income.
That's right, and because we have a 40% senior rate right now.
Exactly, so,
So that's a problem.
right,
We have to also emphasize that it's good for their grandchildren because they can use the pool, because they can get better services from their recreation department. You have to bring up the things that do mean to them. And you need to talk to them also about the dollar amount. Yes, it's a lot of money. A lot of those older seniors now who are living as a security are living in these smaller houses around here. All this new development, Kensington, with all those big homes there. I have a friend who moved there. She doesn't even see her taxes. I said to her, I said, well, how do you feel about your taxes? She said, I don't see them. They're in my mortgage. It's cool. You've got to emphasize this to older people that yes, we know it's gonna be a tax increase, but it's gonna be smaller on you than it is gonna be on all those homes over in Kensington.
so my last comment that I'll make, and it's going in line with what you're saying. When whoever's making these forms, whoever's making these communications, we need to designate specifically to that 40%. Somehow, some way that message.
You have to try to reach them. Yes, I know.
No, not reaching, not only reaching, but you have to share what you just said.
Touch.
You have to share what you just said in the communication. Because if I, as a senior, and I'm on a fixed income,
Yeah.
I'm more than likely just gonna worry about what my increase in my taxes are gonna be. And if I don't know the benefits, to your point, it's for the next generation, it's building a community, it's doing X, Y, and Z. A lot of times people don't focus on that when it hits their bottom line.
Yeah. Well,
So
that's-
those are some of the things I think we need to, because it's a 40% is a huge number.
Yeah, we need to reach.
So anyway, sorry to go
No,
off.
it's
good.
good. And Tina, there is also a senior newspaper, which she could put in the draft, this report has been approved by the commission. If you need a copy or would like to speak to someone,
Okay,
put it in the paper. And that paper goes out, so.
so that they know who to look for. Yeah. I was thinking of trying to contact somebody that does those reporter things and see if they'd come out and talk to us about, and get some information from us about what it is we're trying to do.
And to your point, you have those, like the Lions Club, you know, you have all these different areas that the veterans, I mean, all these areas, you can just start pinning up things that on their boards. I mean, you know, like Timberland Golf Course, and you have the men's club, and you have the senior men's club and all that stuff, and you start putting these things up, people will read them. You just have to outline what specifically it is that's the benefit. Everyone always talks about the negativity all the time, but we never talk about the benefits of getting this community center.
I'm working on it.
Anyways, sorry.
That's great. So many benefits. We always said before with this act years ago, every one of us has to touch 10 people. And then those 10 have to touch 10 more and 10 more. You do get a groundswelling at some point where people have a common interest and they want to get together and want to get something done. That's what you need to do to move this forward. Or we all need to do.
Right.
Don, I have a question,
Yes,
slightly more of a clarification.
Yeah.
On what the council is doing with the Y. Are they holding public meetings when they're talking to them, or is this all in private, then they're gonna come up with this big grand plan at the end and then present it?
All we know is what we saw at the council meeting. We know the same as you.
I can't answer that. I don't know. I haven't.
I don't know if they've had further conversations. I don't.
The only presentation that I was at was his last presentation for the town council. Which was a general, here's what we have in there, and this is what we do here. You know, maybe they're waiting for this,
Well.
and then go talk to them. I really don't know.
All right.
No, I would, that would be one thing that I'll bring up in audience, citizens and other people are free to also ask the same question. And ask for the answer. Okay, again, Joe, Roger, any other questions, comments?
So just a quick comment, Don, at last meeting, you had indicated that should the town council elect to go with the Y option, if it was less than a certain dollar value, they can make that decision on their own. If I understood your comment right.
He said that, at the last meeting, you made a comment that if the Y becomes an option and it's less than a certain dollar amount, that the town council can make the approval on their own.
Yeah, if they're just letting the Y come in and it's not costing the town dollars, then yeah, they can just make that agreement and move forward with it.
So the dollar amount is 5 million.
Yeah,
So-
anything over 5 million has to go out to a referendum.
Right, so the town, if the town leaves the Y land with a,
If-
there's a
If
value.
the town just leases the Y the land for $1 a year, there's no cost to the town. So it wouldn't need to go to referendum,
Unless the land that you give them is worth $5 million.
not if you're leasing it, value doesn't matter if they're paying for it. You're not giving them the land,
Oh,
you're
the
leasing
lease.
it.
Yeah, a long-term lease is a capital lease, there is a value to that, and that's, any company has to put a value on a capital lease. The town would have to put a value on it. They pay you $1, but the value of the land that you're giving up is worth more than that, so that, and again, I'll let that up to the new lawyers, but that would be a BS answer if
Right.
if that's what we give the town. But also any dollars, any services, any town staff, you know, whatever.
Fire department, police department.
Yep.
They get all that for free.
Roger? Any
Yeah.
comments?
Well, along those same lines, if they're building a building that's a permanent structure on town property, I would think that that would throw a little difference in just leasing for $1.
Yeah.
That building's gonna be more than $5 million, no matter what, who does it.
Yeah, like Donna said, I don't wanna, the attorneys would know the best answer for that
Yeah,
question.
With the finance.
Correct.
people.
I agree. Nothing else.
Yeah, I just don't know, we know, this is a very expensive proposition, the Y will have, if they build the same or similar, the cost is the same. Square footage, per square foot, it's gonna cost them the same. The Y goes out and fundraise, and they'll take out a loan, But they have to fundraise a big significant piece of it. Where do they get the money from? Every place that the town should be looking for money. The state, the federal government, private foundations, companies. And by the way, individuals, they will do a community capital fundraising in the town of Berlin. But maybe Berlin, New Britain, Meriden, to try and fundraise funds. I mean, that's just what they do it every year.
Did you see that YMCA Sloper? They just got a huge.
Yep.
Government funded, like millions.
Say that again?
YMCA Camp Sloper.
Yes.
Something. They got a big grant,
Big grant.
Yeah,
huge, like.
Yeah.
Millions.
and they're at the heat.
Yeah, no,
Oh, no,
question.
Sloper's the one over.
Right, so-
Yeah.
In Southampton, yeah.
Ann's got a question.
All right, is it my I wanna make sure I have all my facts straight. Is it my understanding that we can't even try to get a grant written until the town council has said they're gonna do this?
That is what we were actually told. Donna, correct me if I'm wrong. We were actually told that until shovels are ready to go in the ground, we can't get a grant. And we were told that by state
Okay,
reps.
so we can't really work on fundraising or anything right now until they get this.
Because right now, there's no
Fundraise.
project to fundraise for because the town has to approve the
Right.
project.
Normally it has to go through referendum because anybody giving you money wants to make sure the town would support it. And the only way they know that is if the town votes it
If the
for it.
town votes for it.
And then there has to be work, but at least then you can start getting funds to help you
Right.
on design plans or whatever.
Go stand outside soccer shop with a can.
But,
And I will tell-
but see, so what we're talking about here, this is a perfect example where we need to make sure, especially the seniors, understand this. If they build a YMCA, they decide to go to Y, the seniors are gonna have to pay for a membership, we're just gonna go for free.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know how the communication.
If I wanted to pay for like, I could go to New
Go
Britain.
to Britain, exactly.
Or Meriden, either one.
So I think those are the things that they have to be laid out in some kind of bullet format, very easy for someone at the senior level to understand.
And, yes,
The other thing is that they won't meet the senior center needs, right?
no,
They don't, why don't, they admitted that.
Yeah.
They can do all these little piecemeal stuff, but it doesn't meet your needs. That's right. Doesn't meet the community center needs either.
Well, if they start possibly up, it's not gonna be that much needs either. Who the heck wants to have, go one place to go have a play cards and then
Right.
go another place to swim?
It's crazy.
You know, it makes no sense. It's like the whole point of a community center is the word community.
the one thing though, I'm sorry, or just let me, while we're talking about fees. In the last go round 2 years ago. And this will happen with these projects. Y versus this project or whatever they decide. They will take an estimated cost and come up with how much it would cost for the average taxpayer with a house value of this. They'll come up with that dollar amount. And it is expensive.
Yeah.
And then in addition, just so you know, with the community and senior center, normally the pool, there'll be a fee.
Yeah,
To pay for the pool.
Yeah.
And that will offset the center's expenses, and we had that from before, because we've looked at
and
other towns.
if we have space that we can rent it like most of them do, then that also helps to cover the costs for
Right.
running the building
Right,
and for providing the programs.
right, so we had, and Jen and her staff, they looked at how much staff they would need to run this. So we looked at all that, that's a starting point,
Yeah.
it's now been reduced, the size has been reduced by 20,000 square feet. Thereabouts, and, you know, you would expect there to be some reduction, I can't speak to how much, but, because we haven't been asked that yet. But we do know the fees for the pool will help offset that, not fully. And that would go into the property taxes for people too, so we did that work before.
You know, what may be a good, maybe a suggestion, especially I'm not just putting this on the seniors, but I'm just having some brainstorming ideas as we're talking. If there's a possibility, whether you have a grandchild, maybe someone in the school, we should create a social media vehicle that outlines in less than 7 minutes exactly what this package says.
Yeah.
And then you use that as your communication vehicle anywhere you want, humanly possible.
Yeah.
It can go on a YouTube account, it can go on a Facebook account, it can go on a LinkedIn account, it can go into so many different areas. once you set it up and done it, you don't have to do it again.
Yeah, true.
And, you know, it may be a great project for, I don't know if we can reach out to the high school or, I don't know, I'm just
Yeah, yeah.
throwing a crazy,
PowerPoint.
yeah.
Brainstorm, yeah.
You know, and it doesn't, because the actual voice and hearing it from you all. It's probably a heck of a lot better than putting it on a piece of hot paper and putting it on the flyer.
Yeah, seniors want to hear from seniors.
Right,
Right,
that's the big population of people that.
not
would
to
vote yes.
negate to seniors, but that's a big population. But then you have the other population, college age parents and
But it sounds like,
those big Kensington homes and things, right? Those are people we have to touch as well.
but it sounds
Try and
like,
convince them.
but it sounds like, Heisman, is that her last name?
Karen.
Oh, Karen,
Karen,
he's,
yeah, he sounds like she may be doing something in that same manner, right? Putting together some kind of social media thing where she's gonna try to tap into
Well, she
whomever the audience is.
I'm not gonna, I have not seen her written proposal, so, but when she talked to me about this, she did say, all I wanna do is present what we have. I can't say yes or no, and they might have their own views, right? But at least people, because no one's been to the senior center except people that go to the senior center. No one's been to the community center except for those that go to the community center. They also talked about tours, and that's another subject, you know, open house type of thing, let people come through. Maybe that's something at some point, but for right now, she's going forward, she, you know, she would, I believe she would like to put it out to the response group, anyway, to share with them. But the senior center is right now.
So
I
is
have a
it-
copy here of Karen's proposal, if anybody needs to have it, if you want to make copies.
Yeah, I can send it out too. It was gonna be part of the agenda package, but if you guys want it early, I can email it out.
Yeah, I think everybody should.
I printed
know
it for
that.
Barbara because I wanted her to know it was gonna be on her agenda.
But I just want to say something about the why. We have, our commission, not myself, but the people on the committee, did a lot of visits, they put a lot of time into this. We have had to present statements of need, we've had to go before the council. I don't understand, the Y has not had to do any of this. And they're gonna come in, and I know the council is favoring the Y. But you have to realize that this is a town project, and should be the heartbeat of the town. Because everything is gonna be, I don't like the idea of one thing, one place, and one thing another. Everything should be under one roof, is right in that area. Where people can go from one place to another, we can have the pool. I mean, it bothers me that we've been at this so long, and it's still in this format, you know? I mean, all these years, 2 years have gone by. And it's more costly now than it would have been. And then if we wait 2 more years, and if we go with the Y and they have to do fundraising, you're not gonna see this for 3, 4 years. Right? So I don't see the benefit of going with the Y. I just don't see that. And I don't know how anybody else feels about this, but I think to have a community, other towns do it, why can't we do it? That's what I keep asking, you know? They have something for the seniors could have swimming and they could have their things in the morning, the kids could have swim lessons. This could encompass the whole demographic of the town. And yet we're fooling around with, oh, we're maybe gonna go with the Y. No, if we go with the Y, and what if they put up this building and they default? We're left with a building that we don't want. And you know, they have had to have funding. They gave the Y $1 million for the Britain because the Y was in disarray. And they had to bail them out, basically, with this grant. Another grant you said they got from, where was that other one?
Slope,
Where, Slopers? Yeah,
Camp Slope.
so, you know, I don't see the vision of going with what. I think this should be a town project.
And the other piece is you have to hold people accountable, right? I mean, it's fairly clear. You know, it's beginning, all the stuff the senior center, even when they were voting for it, in other words, when they come out to speak at the senior center about November election, or when they presented it, it was, you know, cost, no taxes, cost, no taxes, cost, no taxes, okay? And a lot of people, you know, that's important to them. But to your point, you know, this is for the community. It needs to be a central focus where elderly and young kids can come together, where it can be a unique thing, right? And people can go to the communities.
I don't even know the effect of loss yet. We have no idea.
Right.
We don't have a dollar amount, we don't know the bonding, we don't know anything, nothing we can look at.
And if the Y, you have no control over what the Y is gonna do. You know, we've had to reduce our size. We don't know what the Y would do. And I think we have to consider those things. If we want it to be a town project where the kids swim team can come here and have, you know, we can have meetings. We can rent out the, I went to the South Windsor, Senior Center. They were renting that out for a bridal shower. You can do that if you have a good facility. But you have to start with a good facility and you have to have people with a vision. And I said that before, I said, how do other towns do it? They said, because their administration supports that. So that's what you have to do.
The other reason, quite honestly, is they have a better tax base, all right? If you, I mean, when's the budget meeting? 20% of the revenue increase is from the property reval, right? So, I mean, we need more businesses in town. And that's the guys on the streets. We need more top line revenue to help fund some of these things. If you go down the Berlin Turnpike and go to New England and all the stuff they're doing there, and they've got that whole big condo unit that's going in there, and they've got Sally's and Pizza going in there, they've got the Shake Shack going in there, you know, so they're managing to pull all those things in. And, you know, we've had the Berlin Turnpike, our end of it, for how long? We do very little with it, but that's the, you know, there.
Okay,
Right.
any other comments?
Motion on the table.
I think we kind of talked things through, and there's a lot of work to be done after this. But there is a motion on the floor to accept space needs assessment as attached with the change that I noted on page 14 to the total square feet of 52,000 thereabouts. So with that, all in favor of passing this space needs assessment with that change, say aye.
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 Okay, thank you. Any opposed? Hearing none, it's unanimous. We have 100% of your members of the Commission on Aging,
Yes, all four of them are here.
and we have 100% here, so that's wonderful. We
Bye,
thank you
Mr.
very
Kurtz.
much for that support. Thank you, Tim, for.
Thanks for.
See you June 4th.
See you.
Okay. And, okay. All right,
Commission on Aging
I
members,
think that's
up to
good.
you. If you want to stick around and listen to us, if you want to go home and have dinner, that's cool too.
Have a good evening. Goodbye.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Roger.
Roger, for joining.
Tip, you do have to mark that they're leaving the meeting, because it
Appreciate
is a joint meeting. So Roger's leaving. It's 7:09. Are you guys leaving?
We
All three
appreciate you
of
guys
you?
coming. Thank you very much.
So
for
Tip,
making
all of
it.
the members are leaving at 7:09, say.
Aye, thank you.
My grandson.
Thank you so much.
All right, so we can move on with our meeting.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Yep.
Parks and Rec Commission. We're just gonna keep going.
Yep.
So we're taking care of.
We're on
item
approval of
three.
minutes.
Before we get into the approval of minutes, I do want to mention, the previous chair of our Parks and Recreation, Chuck Warner, passed away. Chuck was the previous chair, he was on Parks and Rec Commission, as a member for several years. Donna and I served with him for a number of years before he officially retired years ago. And he was a great guy, he was a funny guy, and, but he really was committed to Berlin and to the community. For that, we thank him. And we send our condolences to the family as well, so. Okay. All right, approval of minutes, another motion,
Make a motion to approve last meeting's minutes.
Second,
seconded by Don. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Lucas, you abstained, you weren't here.
Thank you, Joe.
Joe, were you here?
yeah, you
Yeah,
feel
I was
like,
Okay, so
Yeah.
so Tiff, Lucas abstains, he wasn't here. So 6-0.
consent agenda,
Okay,
I'll make a motion to accept consent agenda items A, B, C, D, and E.
second,
What about G?
Number
Tony,
G.
second,
What,
Go to page 2, there's a
Oh,
G
sorry.
too.
oh, G.
NG,
Yeah.
sorry.
Second? So,
Tony, second,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Any discussion, questions?
So for Berlin Little League, to hang banners at named locations, you didn't with a name.
did I not? Guys, I don't know what happened to me this week.
Yeah, it didn't come up.
Being off this week.
No.
So you can approve it per what I send you guys Monday morning. I can tell you they're looking to hang them at Smithfield, which is a new location. However, Steve and I went out and scoped it. It is not facing the street. They're hanging them at Denny. Yeah, Smith was the only new
Which Smith?
location.
Which
Smith is the T-ball field.
Oh, Boston Smith.
Boston
Yeah,
Smith is
okay.
the only new location. And they're getting new banners and hanging them up. So it's the exact same request from the fall, except they added Smith.
And the Smith one was behind the, home plate, remember where that house was facing the field inside?
No, they're going down the first baseline. That's why they wanted
In
permission.
facing inside.
Because technically, if I'm walking on the street, I can see the first
What you're
baseline,
saying is right, Don.
but because it's
Oh,
facing the field,
Right,
it's okay.
just like the other field is
Right.
facing it.
They were just concerned because technically you can still see it from the street, but it's not
Yeah.
street facing
Right,
fence.
right.
I apologize. I don't know why I did.
That's okay, we just talked it through, so.
Yeah.
You have any issues with that?
No. Okay.
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 Any other questions on any of the other ones?
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous.
Didn't get a request from the boosters
Boosters did it in the fall for the whole school year.
for next year.
Next year, no, that'll come in the summer.
Okay. Debbie's reports,
Yeah, any questions?
No.
I do wanna just,
yes.
follow up with Donna about Chuck. Chuck was not only a member, but he was a friend. So sad to see him go, but, he was a big supporter for our department. I always appreciate that, so. Chuck, looking down at us, yeah, God bless. So, all right, now,
He's Tina Doyle's brother-in-law,
yeah,
so that's why.
yeah. So then any questions?
So I have just one.
Sure.
So for the summer fund program.
Yep.
You have enough
Yep,
to.
One sec. Yep.
So we're not doing what was Clover,
Clover Hill, yeah,
right?
that's correct.
So we have it in the budget. Because we are hopeful to have the two sites like we used to do. But we can't find people to work for the summer fund, so. One site, Crystal Creek, like we've had in the last couple of
Yep,
years.
last couple.
Okay, lifeguards, I know you're still taking, can you just
We're
explain
still-
to them what
I mean,
you're looking at?
I don't know if I have enough guards at this time, to be honest. I reached out to everyone that I have, and asked for time off this summer, so I can kind of get an idea, and I heard back from 4 out of 11 people, so. Kind of hard to base the summer with that little, information coming back to me. I have a couple people right now that I'm in limbo with because they can really only work Monday through Thursday and not weekends, and that's a big concern to me, to hire someone brand new who's already saying they don't wanna work weekends. Not sure what the backlash will be from the other staff, because really, most of them don't wanna work weekends, but it's the deal, it's a 7-day-a-week thing, so I'm struggling with that right now, hoping to get some more applications in, but we've got no bites on it, so. So we'll, I'm again trying to just, it's a struggle to try to get information, and it's bad timing, like, you know, getting to the end of the school year, so. It's one of the frustrations of the current staff climate, is that these kids are not always the best getting back, and a lot of things are last minute. And I'm down to 2 swim instructors. I had 5 and 3 could not come back, so. That's why we're still looking for those positions also, so it's,
Swim lessons.
yeah, so. It'll be a challenge, but we'll do the best that we can, and just again, still taking applications, so. Normally we've shut it off, but I'm not doing that this year. People, college kids come home in May, they wanna apply, we'll, you know, take a look at that and. Try to do the best we can, so believe me, the more it's easier for me, but it's just I've talked to other towns and everyone's kind of in the same position. It's a struggle to have staff. They don't wanna work like they used to. And I've got kids who are doing internships earlier than they've done before, like completing their freshman year in college, doing internships. And I lost one kid to that. He didn't think he was gonna get it, and then all of a sudden said, well, I can work Saturdays, but I have an internship the whole summer. So it's kind of a constant battle.
So if we had a community center that had swimming, that'd be easier. That would be the benefit of some of that stuff. You'd be able to find people to do some of that.
Well, it would allow us to do more training,
Yeah,
which we can train in the summer, but like I'm not doing a training the last week of June. Because,
Right.
I mean, it's kind of, we already need to be set by then,
Right.
you know, so that's why we do training in August to try to get the people, then hope they come back the next year. We didn't get any interest last year. So I think that's like New Britain, they did several lifeguarding classes, so they're trying to, you know, because they can do that, they have facilities to do that. I think that's our disadvantage, is having such a small window and trying to do things. WSI is, I mean, that's a struggle everywhere. I know towns that are following Red Crossing because they can't get instructors. So they're kind of developing their own swim lessons and having people teach that way, which when I was in Middletown, that's what we did. We didn't go through Red Cross. So you don't need the certification, you just need people interested. So that's a little bit easier, but like people want Red Cross lessons, so it's, you know, it's hard to try to have that balance.
Do you think the towns, other towns, because they're having the same issue, that somehow if you have kids that wanna work, but you know, you can't give them the hours, let's say during the week, but you could give them to Newington or Rocky Hill to work those days, and then they work us the other time, so that they kind of pool.
It's too hard, because with training, like you're working at different facilities, you've gotta train at each facility, so you know in an emergency, so it's, that's a lot of extra, and are people willing to do that? Like if I can barely fill our hours, how am I gonna let someone work somewhere else? They're gonna have to work as many hours as they can for us, so,
Right,
you know, I mean, that's the struggle.
I'm thinking about the people that want a weekend off, and you can't give it because you got these 3 that you might have to take just to fill the hours during the week. And now this kid wants a weekend off, well, maybe Rocky Hill could be the person or something.
But it's all with training, I mean, you can't just bring someone in, you know, they've gotta,
It's all background checks through the
it's
town,
paperwork, it's going
employees.
through in-service, I mean, there's a.
And they have to be familiar with the place.
Yeah,
Right, familiar with the
So
pool, familiar with the
what
plan.
do you think the impact is gonna be? I mean, we're gonna be meeting in May, so a month later. At that point, we're gonna know whether or not you're gonna be able to staff for.
I mean, I hope to get response from people, but I can't pull teeth, you know,
No, I know you can't promise, but, so if you were to look right now, based on what you have, we're looking at reduced hours.
I don't know, I'm not sure the impact, because I haven't heard from people. So you want me to base it on,
So how many?
I mean, she has 7 people she hasn't heard from, they could all come back and need the same week off, they could all come
Right.
back and not need any vacation.
Right. It's hard
You
to-
can't predict.
I really
when
don't
you're back.
wanna be put on the spot and say like, and, you know, I
Right.
mean, it's kind of a hard,
I don't need to. push on this.
no, but I'm just saying, it's kind of a hard thing to
So I,
predict, it just is, it's an ongoing struggle, honestly, I mean, it's hard.
so.
I mean, yes, I could try to have a better idea,
That is our
yeah,
meeting. You're gonna have an idea.
Yeah.
Cause if you haven't heard from the kids by then,
Well, I'm gonna reach out again, because we have to start setting up our training, and I've gotta have to do certifications, and
So
stuff like
maybe
that, so.
if you know ahead of time, maybe there can be some communication to the commissioners just to give them a heads up, or if you wait till May. Then it's official, it's out there, you know, what the reduced hours are gonna be.
Yeah, I
or
mean,
whatever.
yeah, no, that's why I'm saying it now, so that you have an idea, I'm not gonna come back, I don't wanna come back in May and have
Okay,
it
so
like a
you're
big
gonna-
shock.
you're gonna-
So I'm just kind of letting you know as we go into it, yeah, I'm hoping to hear from people. But sometimes it's hard, they don't check their emails, and even though I tell them to, then I got my aquatics director out trying to pull in old staff. He actually talked my nephew into coming back, which I didn't think was gonna happen. So he's gonna come and work hours, which is great, because, you know, it's an older person, which is what we need. So he's gonna cover some hours. He's trying to pull some other people back to work one more summer. So, I mean, he's a big help trying to, you know, and it's good for him to contact people. Like, I'll tell him, contact this person and see if we can get information. They tend to respond to him more because he's younger than to get in touch with me, so. So I will have more information for the May to have a better idea of what we're looking at.
And if we're in need of lifeguards who pay for their own training, I've mentioned this to Jen before, but I think we need to think about, hey, we might lose, we might pay for the training, they don't work. But somehow you might have to think about going down that path and paying some training for people. With the risk that you might lose.
Well, that's a budget issue.
Well,
Yeah.
but we just saved money on the summer fund kit. So if we got to spend, we can.
It's different. That you can't they're taking money from salary accounts to do things, but traditionally in the past, you can't take money from a part-time salary account and put it into an operating budget.
Yeah, it's different.
They tell you didn't
That's
budget
fine.
properly, that's the whole,
That's okay.
Yeah.
Then you go to the town council meeting and you ask for them to move the money. It can be done, it's been done. But again, you have to ask for it, you have to try, I mean, if you can't get staff, you gotta offer some kind of benefit that.
I mean, our-
Again, I don't know if you're gonna get staff, I'm just throwing this out, but I think you gotta consider it.
other than New Britain, that I think just offered their classes for like $50. We've always been the lowest cost for lifeguard training classes in this region. Because we don't have to necessarily cover, we bring in money to cover, but a lot of towns will overcharge to bring in
To make
more money.
Yeah.
And we don't do that, I do the bare minimum and we
Well, how
still
many-
struggle.
How many did you get?
Well, I know, but
Maybe
but
yeah.
maybe the interest isn't there, I don't know, I mean, there's not a lot of kids, I have 3 kids from the boys swim team on my staff. The other ones, no one, they don't wanna get the certification. They don't wanna do the certification, yeah, so, and Matt, and, you know, my aquatics director volunteers as one of the coaches on the men's swim team, so. You know, I think the Thurstons are good, they try to promote it and encourage kids to get the certification, but you can't make them do it.
Yeah,
No.
there's Clover right next door, and that's Monday through Friday, no weekend. You know, so that's your kids too, that's right around the corner. And it's a
Work in
lot.
air conditioning as a waiter and make a ton more money. Why am I gonna work outside and not something have to pay a certain, like, it's
Nice goal.
true, it's.
Used to be glamour town.
Well,
And
my
yeah,
daughter-
used to
my
be
daughter
that hundred-
worked at-
right,
sit and get tan and not, like, yeah.
It'd be the highest paying
It's
job.
totally different.
We get hundreds of applications for summer jobs and we don't. we
Like,
barely
when I
get-
when I was that age, we worked 60 hours a week, 2 jobs.
Than anything else.
Yeah.
When they work as instructors there, you get in the pool at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you work straight shifts, you get a break for lunch, you're back in the water. You got 5 kids to a class. If they need help in Farmington, you go to Farmington, the pool's not heated. It's indoors, it's cold. Every single year, my kids would get sick.
But everybody
the first
wants
few
to work
days.
there.
Yeah, actually.
Well, I'm happy to say one of Tony's daughters is working for me this summer.
That's awesome.
And, you know,
I like that, just ask.
the pay is higher, right? And she's hopefully not gonna get, sick the first,
I would, yeah, well,
because that's usually what happens.
and that's the other thing, our salaries are one of the highest in this area also, so I will,
But
Say the
school
hours.
swimming was Monday to Friday.
right, and that's,
So they do Saturdays too.
It's tough.
No.
When Don was there, he was teaching this, so
Never worked on Saturdays. The worst thing was to have to go to Miss Porter's.
yeah, this board's better. No, Saturdays.
Okay.
Is that it? That's, wait, wait, so, talk to me about the deal.
Oh, yeah, yes, this is good.
So, how many fish?
Oh, here we go.
Well, so I won't know,
Sorry, man.
No.
I'm gonna say this and I'm not, when I say it, I'm completely happy with the donations that we get.
Yeah.
Our numbers for donations have been down the last few years. Lions Club have always been very generous, and I do not want this to come off as anything, but the Lions Club has always given us $1,000, which is wonderful. The cost of the fish in the last 20 years has gone up. It's $7.75 now. I looked it up for a 10 to 12 inch fish.
Wow.
So that cost in the 20 years since I've been here, you know, like the donation hasn't gone up.
Right.
So our numbers were down. I actually put more money in my budget to try to get the numbers back up, because last year we only put about 300 in, because I wasn't really looking at the numbers, and then when I looked at it and because he held his prices for 1 year, I was like, wow, that's like the number wise went down a lot. So I put more money in the budget, and the town is contributing like $800 more to try to get that number back up. I won't actually know the number until he does the first drop off and he gives me the invoice. That'll have the amount on there.
Okay.
So last year there definitely were less than we have normally. Normally it's about 400, 10 to 12 inch, and then other larger. But some of the larger are by weight, so you don't know how many fish it actually is. It's like, it could be like, you know, 50 pounds, so they're like bigger, but you just don't know how much that is. So I won't know until after I think the 19th is the first drop off. But the prices have gone up and the donations have gone down, so
I don't know.
trying
The
to,
price with Jen told me the price.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
And again, like I love, you know, I appreciate
Yeah,
any donation we
absolutely.
get, but like the costs have gone up and our donations haven't, and so it's been a struggle to try.
And we've actually lost some of the donations we've gotten.
Yeah, we're a couple hundred short this year.
so why is it that, so you stock, say, 300 fish?
Yeah.
Put it in before the 2 fishing derbies, right?
Right, they split it in half.
They
Yeah.
split in half, one week, one the following week.
Yeah.
So you get how many kids that come up?
Not many. Not,
Not even,
our numbers have been low.
so you got 300 fish in there, you got 40 kids that come.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Right, so what I'm getting at is then the Lions Club does their thing, the Sunday
Sunday
right
after
after
the
the
second
second
one,
one, right? Last year, it was a overcast day, whatever, there was no fish bite. So this is why they came and said, well, we wanna put in
Yeah,
fish too.
yeah.
Right, but isn't it true that it's adults that are actually going there on off hours?
Probably.
We send a letter I send a letter to the chief every year,
Don't we have
asking them
a
to
massive
patrol.
sign up there that says,
And no one patrols it because there's gates, so they'd have to unlock the gate to get in. They used to have the ATVs and they would go in, but I don't think that they do that.
But Tony, even if the adults are going there between the first and second fishing derby, let's say, for example, last year, 300, you're still putting 150 fish in on Friday.
Yeah.
Debbie's fishing derby on Saturday. There's no way those kids are fishing 150 fish.
I know, I'm
Or
saying
Sunday.
it doesn't add up.
There's not 20, 30 adults going Saturday night and fishing it all.
Sunday.
Should get a show for that.
Yeah, I don't,
Get that.
and last year, there's always one of the Saturdays that it's like pouring rain. So last year, one of them was bad, so then you probably get like, maybe if you're lucky, 20 people there that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do, people go off times, we say kids only, but I know adults go there, but I mean, we can't control that, that's the problem, and it really, they can't arrest them. Like, we could say it's children's fishing time, but like, it's not, like, they're not breaking a law, they're kind of
So
breaking
you
our.
guys gonna put in 300 fish
Hopefully
at
more.
$7.75, say, The Lions Club wants to put in another 100 on top of that. So there's gonna be like 400, maybe more, 500 fish in there.
Well,
Trying to get my rod out.
Well, remember, hers is split, so half on Friday, half on Friday.
It's something we need.
The fish should be jumping out of the water into your bucket. Scoop 'em up.
yeah,
There we go.
Isn't there a bowl and fish store?
There's that tunnel, there's another tunnel in there.
Yeah, it's all somewhere, you know?
And this is the first, like, we've heard of them not being able to get bites at their fishing.
yeah, normally it's, their event is pretty good. I mean, I get good feedback from Lori, because I talked to Lori about it, and she said, oh, it's been great, so. Yeah, I was surprised to hear that she reached out.
People weren't catching fish last year.
I mean, sometimes it happens, I don't know, I used to fish, so, you know, there's times you go out, you don't catch fish.
You must overcast maybe, but I mean, you should be able to catch fish.
Rain is good time.
Right.
When your kids catch fish. I guess, a year ago. Yes. I'm sure they did, yeah, I mean, there's always, there's certain areas where they catch them more than others. You guys set up on the other side, that's usually by those trees, people have a lot of luck, at the end, they have a lot of luck, and then when you first come in. But there's also a lot of, you know. Yeah, there's jumps that lines get caught on. I mean, they do catch some, I've been accused of like not actually stocking and shit. I get pictures every year of the fish when they stock them. And Woody's guys are great, they come and help, and they throw the buckets in and stuff, but like, I was a little insulted when someone said, well, I don't really think you stocked it. Like, yeah, we did, you just not catching, I don't know, I mean, you can't.
You're doing fish fries every Friday.
There's full of fish at home.
A few years ago, used to have a state come in, they bring fishing rods for kids, you make.
Never, no, we never did that.
With, Jim Sherry.
He tried to offer a class, I don't think people ever signed up for it.
Yeah,
He
no.
tried to do it, and I don't think we ever,
Oh.
yeah,
So
so,
Nobody signed up
they
for it.
program that
yeah, care, I think it's
They-
care.
they bring fishing rods and they help the kids and they help the parents and all that kind of stuff, and they bring bait, and all that, so you know, bait. I thought we took advantage of that.
Well, we tried, but no one signed up, so, again, like, usually we offered things, but people didn't wanna participate in it, so.
Okay. Joe, any questions for Debbie?
All set, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Chuck, go ahead.
In honor of Chuck Gordon,
Yes.
because I used to always be on the commission appointed to him, I'm saying. Meeting adjourned.
Ha you
Right.
love it. You always wanted.
Hold on.
Well,
Can I just say one thing? No, I just want to say something positive. So when I was out at Scully's, and I always check the bathrooms, I saw Brett out there from the custodial staff, who's a great guy. So what's the blue stuff in the toilets? And he said, it's special chemicals that they're using to ensure that they don't rust. And it's called.
Protect the.
Yes, and so he's doing, I mean, that's above and beyond, and they have to spend more time to do it, but they're doing a great job to protect the investment. And so, I mean, shout out to Brett, he does a great job, but.
so now I make a motion.
Now you can make a motion.
I make a motion on behalf of Chuck Warner. And their meeting.
I second that, go ahead.
Done.
Billy
Have a
DeVoe,
nice evening, everybody.
All in favor?
Aye, that was a lie right there.
Whenever Chuck said the meeting was
Yeah.
done.
Chuck said it was done.
No.
This guy.
bye, Joe.
Take
Thank you,
care.
Joe. Thank you, hope you feel better.
Hey,
Thank you.